what is your business doing that will need AI, right? Somebody selling food on the streets. Right. For now, they don't need AI. I don't know what the future holds, right? You are talking about AI, okay? And from my studies, I found out that people, the traditional way of Googling things is now the traditional way people now ask AI things.
Yeah, they use AI like a search engine.
They can ask ChatGPT, where can I buy quality? So what makes ChatGPT to suggest your business and ChatGPT, bring out your website?
I really like that you're talking about the projects that you're working on and how everybody's asking for AI. And now outside here in the world, with all the push for AI, token maxing, where if you're not using up a lot of tokens, it's seeming like you're not being productive, you're not using up enough AI credits. I sent you the screenshot that Uber had maxed out 4 months into the year. They had maxed out their annual budgets for AI, and it seems like it was not worth it. Like all that money for what? So are they supposed to increase their budgets to ×3 now, bloat up their margins, and look unprofitable at the end of the year for productivity gains that they cannot even boast about? How is that playing out now for you people that are at the back end? Are companies kind of like dialing back still, or they're still going full throttle? Has development caught up with the news that we're hearing? Hi, my name is Chika, and this is Synthesis Script. I've enjoyed working on this and hope that you find these episodes as stimulating as I have, or even more. It is my pleasure to welcome you to Conversations on Tech and AI. Thank you so much for joining this video. You're my third guest on my series, and just to familiarize you with our viewers, would like to get to know you, a little bit of your educational and your professional background.
Okay, so for my educational background, first of all, my name is Chibuike Onah. So for my educational background, I'm a graduate of UNN, University of Nigeria, Nsukka. And currently, I am taking another degree in applied AI with IU International University in Germany. For my professional background, I have worked in several establishments. I've also started up a business myself that I handed over to someone to monitor. But currently, I'm working with an IT solutions company, though remotely, but based in Malaysia. So where I am their AI and data lead seats for my professional background. I don't know if that answers your question.
We have questions on questions, because how do you move from biochemistry to become a data analyst? I know you said you're taking a course now, a master's course, right?
No, it's a second
certificate. Okay, that's the second degree. Yeah, that's the second degree. That's the second bachelor's.
Yes.
You start from scratch again. You don't want to top up. Okay. I'll ask you what informed your decision. Why didn't you just do a master's? Why you started from scratch again? And how did you become a data analyst? Because answer both of them at the same time.
So why I became a data analyst? During my project in my first degree, so I was the one that actually analyzed my lab work. Okay, so my supervisor then told me that he knows students that are analyzing their own, result from the lab instead of giving it out to a third party to do so. And we're also planning on publishing that work. So there are certain parts of the result we didn't want a third party to handle. So he tasked me with going to learn how other people are doing it and get it done myself. So that was how I, dived deeper into Excel, did the analysis myself. Then that was how my interest in data analysis was picked. Actually, initially I wanted to go into bioinformatics, right? Where we analyze, biological data, DNA, blah, blah, blah. But I was looking at also something I can do as a freelance and from it. And then so I now pivoted into data analyst. So that was in 2022, actually. So that was when I made up my mind to, in the later end of 2022, Fast forward to 2024. That was when I got admissions to study AI in IU International University. But before then, I already took a course in machine learning. So I was working as a freelancer remotely, working as a data analyst, working as a machine learning engineer. So I took a lot of certification courses. So that was how I was able to pivot from being a biochemist into data analysis. And funny enough,
I can see the path. I can see the path from analyzing your final year project, thinking bioinformatics, which is basically statistics and SPSS, a lot of SPSS. Remember SPSS from our final year project? Yeah, I can see the path.
I was taking certification courses actually along the line. So I took a certification course from Data Talks Club, funny enough, a German organization, right? I don't know what. And currently, I'm studying in Germany as well. So
your destiny is in Germany. It looks like it.
Probably we'll be going to the Dutch land, right? That's what they call Germany, Dutch land, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
That was it. That was how I pivoted. Then my school, actually, they offer opportunities for you to apply for virtual internship. That was how I signed up to, my school partnered with another organization. So I wouldn't want to mention their name, so don't.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah. So we partnered with the organization. So students from my school, you can sign up, and then from there you can see companies you like, the ones that are in line with your skill or your study. So the company, I saw the company Paris Technologies. So that was how.
You called their name now.
No. This is the company I work with. The organization my school partnered with is, they are a platform where students can register, see companies that are just like a marketplace. You meet people that need your skill. So that was how I got in as an intern into the company as a data analyst. So at that time they had a project they were working on. They were working on a project for Red Bull in the US. So
wow.
Yeah,
That's
it was. So we got the data. I joined then as an intern. I had a supervisor. The supervisor intern relationship. You have 2 hours to work for today. They will make sure you don't. So after the whole thing, even though I gave more than 2 hours because I was immersed in the job, that's in the project. The project was about how they make their sales. Which states in the US gives them more sales. With that analysis, you'll be able to know where to push your products to.
Like inform your inventory.
Exactly. So we were also interfacing with stakeholders in Red Bull as well. Everything was done remotely. Sometimes I would wake up by 3 a.m. just to present my findings. Right.
Yeah, working globally.
Exactly. And Malaysia is 7 hours ahead of Nigeria.
Oh, that's brutal. Like,
Yeah.
Some days you wake up, you don't even know if it's middle of the night or morning.
Exactly. And then the states, I think in Arizona is 6 hours behind Nigeria. So I was at the middle, and we had other interns. We had like 2 other interns in Chicago. It tells you how the world works.
Yeah.
So that was how I grew. So after we did the project, no much data analysis project coming on. We were having software projects, web development projects. So I was like sitting idle, doing nothing after my internships.
But you had to go back to school at this point, right?
Yes. No, while I was doing my internship, I was still in school. I was still, going for lecture.
So at this point, your internship was not over, but there were no more projects for you to work on.
At this point, my internship was over because it was for 3 months. From January till around March, January, February, March. We wrapped up the entire work into April, then submitted my work, So he now told me to stay back.
They retained you.
Retained me and say, stay back. So the man said he loves how I work.
Why would he love how you work when you're doing more than the 2 hours?
Yeah, I did. And I woke up at odd hours in Nigeria. just to present. I now noticed that most of the projects that are coming are not in the data angle. So I had to upskill.
They were not a core data company.
Yeah, they just got that contract and I was available.
Okay.
And then at that, they had another machine learning guy that was available, So he needed a data analyst. I came in almost at the right time. So we finished and then that was everything. Then my boss now told me to go back, that he will find some other projects in the data line. So April, May, June, nothing was coming. Then I saw that the company was getting projects in software, web dev, other full stack development projects. So I had to start learning that one too.
You now became a full stack. Yeah, I think that's the thing now. That's the thing now, especially for a lot of data roles. You have to be able to, do any project that comes. You're supposed to be an all-rounder sort of.
Yeah. So I went into web development, front end. Currently, between January and now, we've been able to deliver about 7 web development projects.
Is web dev not a far cry? I mean, outside of it being more like the kind of projects that your company normally gets, is it not a far cry from data analysis? That's if somebody was a core data analyst.
No. It's not a far cry because I was telling someone the other day that roles are blending. Especially with the advent of AI, roles are blending. Okay. After that, I then my dissertation was kind of fluid, right? But it had this AI and data lead role. But companies sometimes they get a work and know you're good at this, even though your job role is this. They can reach out to you. Okay, this. Okay, no problem. We get into that, right?
Especially if you're somebody that always delivers.
Exactly. Now, most of those projects now want AI integrated into their platform.
It's a thing. AI first. You can't blame them. You have to have some form of AI, or it will seem like you're the apple of.
Exactly. Now we have a current project, okay, which I'm heading. Okay. The back end guys are doing their stuff. I am doing the front end. And we're also integrating AI systems into it. So with my knowledge of data analysis and AI and machine learning, so you can see almost everything is interwoven. That is actually my journey from my professional journey and my educational journey. So that is where I am at the moment.
I really like that you're talking about the projects that you're working on and how everybody's asking for AI. And now outside here in the world, with all the push for AI, token maxing, where if you're not using up a lot of tokens, it's seeming like you're not being productive, you're not using up enough AI credits. How is that playing out now for you people that's at the back end? Are companies kind of like dialing back still, or they're still going full throttle? Has development caught up with the news that we're hearing?
Well, Chika, every new innovation will always have this sinusoidal movement. We hype it, everybody rush to it. Then
the highs and the lows.
They feel like, oh, it's not giving me the hype and the output is not the same. It will come down. Then at a point, we now see the need for it. It goes up. So that kind of sinusoidal movement, it happens. It happened with the dot-com boom. Even when the internet came online, it's also the same thing. Now, for the case you mentioned about Uber, it is correct. It's like you came home to your children, you bought them ice cream, a bucket of ice cream. You projected that the ice cream will last for 1 year. Your children tasted it and they loved it. And they started consuming it all the time. It will not last for that 1 year. Okay?
No, but I think that's a different scenario, because the ice cream case is more of like, I like it so much that I feel I can't do without it, and I go and gorge myself on it and overeat. and then finish it before the time. And it was more of like there was pressure to use AI. That's like the pressure was so much that even when your product doesn't need AI, it's required for you to look like you know what you're doing.
Exactly what I said, like the dot-com boom. Sometimes people learn how to use things or products or services after they might have kind of abused it. Okay. Now, this is what I mean. Uber may have budgeted for a 1 year use and saw how their workers used it. They can now say, okay, where are we getting more productivity from the use of AI? Majorly at this point, what AI, most of the heavy lifting that AI will do is for the repetitive tasks. Most of the repetitive tasks is what AI would do. Now, in coding, for instance, I use AI to code as well. Yeah, but what I do is I don't just take in everything that AI gives me. As it brings it out, I sit down with it, study it, where it is going overboard, I know what to do. Where it's not giving me exactly what I want, I know how to uplift it. You get? So,
Do you pay for AI credits? Do you have a monthly subscription for AI tools, AI coding tools?
definitely, definitely.
Has it gone up in the last few months? That's the pricing.
Actually, I don't look at the pricing. I look at the value it gives me.
So,
But
so if it went from $10 to $30, you're not going to notice.
no, not like I'm not going to notice, but I'm not going to consider it like say I'm no longer going to use it.
Yeah, I'm
Um
asking because I asked a few people,
mm,
considering the whole talk about AI becoming expensive, not just for people using it to code, for people using it to generate text too, people that are using it to write, maybe social media content creators, or people that are just kind of like using it to brainstorm ideas, especially for Claude. I started hearing that the number of credits that you get with your monthly subscription is reducing. What you used to use in a whole month, within a week, it has already finished. That they kind of like restructured their pricing now, that you don't even know exactly it's no longer monthly. Like you don't have a month's worth of credits this time around. The tier pricing, it has changed basically. That's why I asked that question.
yes. The tier, yes, I noticed too. I noticed too that the tier pricing has changed. Okay. Even some of
Mm.
the free models I use has also, it has changed.
Everybody's trying to pull their profits because they've been pumping money into this thing, millions and
Thank
millions of dollars. So it's now time to
you.
take a profit.
Yeah. And most of these have not IPO'd. I hope you
Yeah,
know.
they're still in the venture capital funding stage. So
Yeah.
when they
So
IPO, there will be more pressure to
to reduce
well,
the tightening on the maxing out of the credits.
so
And
so what's
you should
going to happen, because the more it gets expensive, because it's basically putting a tax on intelligence. I've also heard reports that these AI tools that we're saying it increases our productivity, at the end of the day, some of the things that it generates, the time that it takes for you to cross-check, do everything, you could have just done it on your own. I'm not saying that it's not smarter in a lot of areas, especially for
yeah.
repetitive tasks, like you said. But sometimes because it can hallucinate, it can just generate it, even with coding. You have to be sure, go line by line to make sure that you're not creating problems, extra problems. That time that you're using to cross-check, you would have just done it by yourself. So essentially, are you paying more for double the trouble? How do you think it's going to, outside of you that I don't care about paying extra $50 or something that you used to pay $10 for, the general populace, that's people that are using this thing. I, for one, would not go from paying $5 for something to $25 if I'm not getting a times five gain, and it's still the same thing. And it's something I could have been doing on my own. I would basically just go back to myself or hire people.
Yeah. AI will definitely define how we work, whether it
It's
is
already done that. It's
yeah,
already done that.
whether it is cheap or expensive. And being cheap and being expensive is relative actually on the person's pockets. For people complaining that I have to go through what it has done because it hallucinates. The hallucination is not 100%. The content is giving you is not 100% wrong. It is about, let's say, from my own findings, about 10 or maximum of 15% or even 12%. Because most of those,
That's because of personal experience with it.
Yes, yes, of course. We all have customers.
How do you make sure that the 12% is not affecting your 88%?
That
It's
that
just
is where that is
it
where
takes
that is
time to
where
finding out the 12%.
that is where your domain knowledge comes in. Somebody that is not, for instance, a programmer can use AI to code anything. So if your domain knowledge is not in that area, you won't know when that AI is making mistake. You won't even be able to quantify the mistake it made,
Yeah,
right? So
that's
if
the
I am
human in the loop part now.
exactly. So if for instance I'm a content creator and I use AI to generate content, and that is my domain knowledge, that is my domain area. So I should be able to tell this is not, and content also depends on the people you're targeting. And a lot of things happens in AI and people don't really know how to use AI. They just go and use it as a chatbot. With your prompt, you can convert that AI you're using to be a professional content creator. Target, tell it this is who or this set of the society I'm targeting. I'm targeting Gen Zs, for instance. Most of those models are trained on a large corpus of data. So when you do that, you're narrowing the output to that sector or to that section of the society you are targeting. If you're targeting business professionals, there's a way you prompt that particular. So it will now give you a content or the output that is, of a higher quality. For instance,
More take.
if I go into Gemini, for instance, and say, generate me a content I want to post on LinkedIn. First of all, it will say, okay, I didn't give it any context. I just said, generate me a content I will post on LinkedIn. Do you know what Gemini will do? It will kind of study all the conversations we have had. And the conversations I have had with Gemini, or the jobs I have done, a few things I have done with Gemini, that is where it will base its knowledge to be able to generate that content.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that you're bringing up Gemini now because different models have their strong points. That's why a lot of people, in fact, I think last year, or there has
Mm,
been this ongoing conversation, ChatGPT versus Claude, which is better. And in my experience, ChatGPT has a strong point, Claude has a strong point. I've never even seen Gemini in that banter. But basically, this same thing that you mentioned now, Claude kind of has the context thing already engineered into it. You can't just give it a blank statement. When you say generate me a post I can drop on
mm,
LinkedIn, it's going to
yeah,
ask you what kind of audience are you targeting. It's going to ask you follow-up questions to
yeah,
reduce the time that it will use to generate, and then you say tailor it to this thing, like all that back and forth is going to reduce it by asking you follow-up questions, like to the point that it now has a bigger idea of what you want. I think that's one of the things that makes Claude a kind of sweetheart to me.
You see how Anthropic built Claude. Okay, that is
Mm-hmm.
in that aspect, it is called prompt engineering. Okay,
Yeah.
prompting. So it's more like you have a generalist, but that generalist has been trained on a lot of sectors. So if you're able to tell it now, I'm not talking about general politics. I'm talking about the politics of the US. In the politics of the US, I'm talking about the Republicans. In the Republicans, I'm talking about the state of Texas. So you are narrowing it down.
Yeah, you go in depth. Yeah, yeah, you tailor your stuff to what you really want.
Exactly.
But I believe that a lot of people who use Claude or ChatGPT or any of these models professionally and actually pay to be able to use them have already gone beyond the generalist angle. They are essentially prompt engineers now. Like there are tutorials, there are courses. People even have prompt templates for what they need. Nobody
Yeah.
just goes and drops stuff. You are going to be wasting your credits, especially if you're using Claude. And Claude is very
Yeah.
expensive. If you max out your number of tokens in a day, it will log you out, and you have to wait for a certain number of hours before you can come back on. So everybody is playing smart now. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I've seen it happen. So
Yeah.
everybody is really smart. You reduce the number of questions you ask it, the number of prompts you type in, and you just max out. So I think we've gone beyond that stage now at this point.
Yeah, exactly. So you can see that whatever model you're using, okay, you determine the output, not the model.
Mm,
Person
mm.
using it determines the output.
I
So
wanted to bring the conversation back to businesses. I know there was the pressure initially, and there is still some form of pressure, because even with Apple, that sort of kind of escaped the pressure, and it seemed like they were not moving fast enough. Everybody was leaning in on them. Why are they not giving us? Yeah, why are we still stuck on Siri, which is basically an assistant, a basic assistant without a lot of AI enablement? And they've been moving on pace, sort of. There have been some announcements for hardware, wearables, and upgrades to Siri as well with Apple. But
but
essentially, and it is looking like.
sorry to cut you short. Sorry to cut you short on this Apple. But Apple is strategically placing itself.
Everybody says that. I really doubt that it was more strategy or basic.
Now look,
we didn't know how to jump in. We couldn't join the race, and we are now positioning ourselves. It's just like somebody that couldn't make it, and they're now like, I had options. That's why they're trying to
no,
to seize up their. You
but
really
you know,
think of strategy? It's going to be
yeah,
difficult to convince me of that angle.
yes, that makes the conversation interesting. Right now, Apple is a gateway to billions of users of their products. So for any of those, large language model companies to access those billions of users, so Apple is the gateway. That's where the business lies.
Yeah, but Apple just has an ecosystem. It's not the only one. Android,
Yeah.
I believe Android has more users than Apple.
Yeah, but Apple has their own users, which
Yeah, they have their own loyalists. Not just they are not even users, they are loyalists. So
and most of their loyalists are ready to spend, right?
yeah, definitely. And they were asking for this. They were literally checking them out, saying Android people have all of these things. When are you giving us this thing? So the fact that they were sluggish about it, and it's something that they could have made more money out of, it's going to be difficult to convince me that it was being strategic. I doubt, because these are capitalists that we're talking about. Any opportunity to make money, they jump at it. So I'm going to leave that conversation there. In your interactions with businesses that want to implement AI, I mean, even in your personal gigs, that's outside of your professional work now, outside of your main job, even with gigs, when have businesses approached you and said they want to implement AI in their business? What's usually the conversation around those kind of requests?
Yeah. Businesses are, due to the AI buzz, so businesses are like, I don't want to miss out, just like the .com time. So I've had interactions, some consultations with some businesses. There was one, I just had a call with them, I think 2 weeks ago or thereabout. So they are into fabrics. They sell fabrics, clothing materials. They are wholesaler. The founder reached out to me. I was like, okay, how can my business integrate AI and all those stuff? I now study what he's doing, and the conversation was on how do I integrate AI into my business. Okay, then the first thing is, what is your business doing that will need AI? Nobody selling food on the streets. Right. For now, they don't need AI. I don't know what the future holds, right? So first of all, I asked him, okay, do you have a website? The business doesn't have a website. So first of all, we should build a website for you. It is on that website that we can integrate AI. For instance, a chatbot that can communicate with your when we had that conversation, I opened his eyes to a lot of things. I said, okay, now your business, and he's doing well. It's not like his business is struggling. Like the business is, let me not say more, but he's doing well. Now I asked him, do you have a website? No. First of all, we have to build a website for you, which I have done, hosted it. And I told him, now you're talking about AI. Okay. And from my studies, I found out that people, the traditional way of Googling things is now the traditional way people now ask AI things.
Yeah, they use AI like a search engine.
Exactly. I say people now use AI like a search engine. So before now we had SEO, that's site engine optimization, specifically for Google and other search engines, right? So there's also AI optimization, blah, blah, blah. When people search, for instance, somebody comes into Nigeria and say, where can I buy quality materials? They can ask ChatGPT, where can I buy quality? So what makes ChatGPT to suggest your business and ChatGPT, bring out your website? Okay. So we had that conversation. I told him, so you have to be your data itself, your data, your company data. I don't mean sensitive data.
Your business data. Yes.
So people should know that something like this exists online. So when we do, and
which is going to entail blog posts. You have to actually have an online presence outside of just the website.
Exactly. So, okay, we have to. Most of those models scrape social media data. Do you have social media? He said he has his personal social media handles. I said, that's fine. It's not business social media handles. So what I did was to, set up social media handles for him. I personally designed an automation system that will every day at 8 a.m. make posts on all the social media handles. So he doesn't handle, I don't handle it. You see where AI is coming in. So I designed the automation.
Yeah, automation of posts, yeah. And content actually kind of posts that are relevant to his business.
Definitely. So what I now did was to start pushing out content about that business, their location, what they do, kind of quality they present to the market, right? The niche where you can find them in the market, right? So you now start promoting that business. It may not yield results currently, but give it like 3, 4, 5 months. When some of these models are trained again, they can scrape those data you don't know, right? So when somebody goes on chat, like, it doesn't matter. The Gen Zs are here. Some of them don't Google things. A lot of people ask these models questions. So for instance, you say, okay, where can I buy quality materials I want to sew for an Ashebi, for instance. And you put it on GPT, and ChatGPT links you to his business website. From the business website, you see a chatbot there. You talk with that chat. The chatbot will say, okay, now I know what to do. The chatbot will now move you to their sales representative. So the sales representative, you now talk with a human being. You see where AI is in the loop. You now talk with a human being. You now say, okay, what is the size you need? What do you need? They will now, and even on their website, you see their catalog. So you can pick that, you can pick that material you want, put it into the chatbot. It will tell you this and this is this amount, blah, 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 blah. You communicate with it. Then you put your location. Everything is well secured. The data of people
I would
using
put
it
my location in a chatbot,
for
not
delivery.
in the secure checkout option.
Yeah, no, there's a way I built the back end. Nothing goes to the public. Okay, so the back end is there, so you get the person's details, right? Either someone reaches out to you, or the chatbot will move you to a sales representative. So with the person you're talking, right? You're talking with the person. You now say, okay, I need this material. I need 2 bales of this material. I need 3 yards of this material. This is where I stay for delivery purposes, right? People buy things in Lagos, they deliver it in Aba. People buy things in Aba, they deliver it to Aba. So with those, you see, the business is pulling things that's pulling leads that it never had before, courtesy of AI. Okay, so it depends. Now there are a lot of businesses I've worked with, like 2 or 3 businesses, set up this kind of system for them. Now there was a research I did about businesses in the East. So I found out that most of them don't have online presence. They still do business the traditional way.
When we talk about businesses and all the things they can do to optimize, we also know all the infrastructure that's not available to them. So jumping on the online trends, is more like putting the cart before the wheel. I mean, how do they even say putting the horse before putting the cart before the horse? Because what is a business inside the market doing with the website? When the logistics is crazy, you're not doing DHL, you're not using GIG most of the time because these options are very expensive. They're still going to go through the GUOs, sorry I mentioned GU, but GU is actually more modernized, but like go and give it to a driver that will hand it over to you. So like automation, does it really help those businesses? I know about online presence, getting people in the diaspora, being able to get all those leads, get all those eyes on your business. But what about the downstream part, the delivery,
Delivery.
how do you move from being automated on the acquisition,
Okay.
customer and user
So,
acquisition parts to delivery?
Chika, you see, in we don't have a utopian world, okay, where thing works. Okay. Now, if, for instance, a logistic company watches this interview and be like, something like this is coming up, there is a gap of logistics. How do I tap into this gap? Because a lot of Nigerians buy things, and we have coined that word, waybill. Okay. And waybill it. Now we don't really have 100% results in logistics. But the ones we have are serving us. Okay. Okay, the ones we have are serving us. Now, this business I'm talking about is in the western part of Nigeria. Sometimes they source their materials from Aba, the eastern part of Nigeria. And I ask him, do you travel all the way from the west to the east all the time? He says no. So there is already an existing logistic company. The only thing we can do is that we have our niche, which is AI, integrating things to work better. So another business can say, okay, logistics is a problem. The ones that are working good, the masses cannot access it because it is expensive. What do we do? For instance, I can say, let me bring in a bus as a company that moves things from Aba to probably Lagos. When it gets to Lagos, I have bikes which are cheaper that can move those things to the person that ordered it. Okay. And for now, people still go to some of those logistics companies park to pick up their way bill, and it is serving them. The thing is, it's like electricity. Give us electricity, we will pay. So if you have a good logistics company that can, see this niche now as it is growing, so you can have a bike man that goes into the market, pick someone's order, go to the logistics company, park, give it to them.
I have so much to say as somebody who has had a business in Nigeria and had to deal with the whole logistics wahala, both international deliveries and local deliveries. A lot of logistics companies spring up and they're always offering something better, something shiny. At the end of the day, they fall into the same problem that all the other ones is either their bike people are behaving crazily or like there's always something. So that's why I mentioned the infrastructure part. Like you cannot out efficient a failing system basically. And
Chika, see, every complaint that a customer makes is a business opportunity. And
but there's a reason why they are business graveyards. So you learn from the people that have come before you to know why their own approach. I know we're arguing in the same direction. We're basically on the same team in this argument. But at the end of the day, the logistics issues we have outside of bad roads and a lot of things that could happen, local government holding your driver and all of those things, which can be quite frustrating because you don't expect me to pay for something and you told me same day delivery, and then somebody's calling me and saying the police held or area boys held their bike. It's going to frustrate the business because in as much as customers will want to be understanding, they're not always going to be understanding. So at the end of the day, this thing is going to kill your vibe, kill your morale for doing the business. That's why they say doing business in Nigeria is difficult. And with us to have this conversation on a broader scale where we're putting it on the problem that businesses globally encounter outside of the Nigerian problem.
Yeah. For me, I don't think any challenge in the business terrain of Nigeria should stop anybody from doing business in Nigeria. Now, for instance, in the financial sector, researches were done. They saw that there are about 40 million, 60 million unbanked Nigerians. So although that was how fintechs came. Okay, fintechs came and is solving the problem. Personally, since this year, I've not been inside the banking hall. For almost 2 years, I've not gone inside the banking hall. Every complaint I have, I do it online. I get responses rectified. It is still the same way. This thing that we are complaining about, logistics, a company can take it up and solve it, right? It's still human beings. You interact with them. Then back to integrating AI into businesses. When we were done with that, right? So I'm currently working on that project. So that was how now somebody is just doing his business the traditional way we do business in Nigeria. So because of the AI, right, he reached out to me. So we had a very long conversation. And then we are now working with something. You see how AI is being integrated. Now, if this AI is not there, there has to be somebody that will be there live all the time, 24/7, responding to people, maybe probably on the website. Okay. But we have an AI bot that will respond. When it comes to the point whereby the AI cannot respond again, the AI will move that person to a sales rep. Okay, so you can now
solve the customer support issue, at least basic level customer support issue that your business probably.
Yeah, like for instance, somebody can come on the website and say, "I need this material. Can you deliver in Enugu?" The AI already knows.
AI and the chatbot already knows that they do deliveries to Enugu. So
basically that, and now the person's business is no longer local with him. He's now on the internet. By the next training cycle of all these models, they will capture it. And sometimes you will ask yourself, how does AI be able to generate an image of a material, of an akwete cloth? You know, akwete is indigenous to in Anambra State. How does the AI, Abia State, okay. How does the AI know how to generate that material? Because it was online, it was scraped, and it was tagged that this kind of material is an akwete material. Okay, that clothing material. So you don't know, maybe tomorrow, next, or thereabout, your website will be scraped and trained on this model. So, and you start doing your AI optimization. There's a way we do it so that AI can capture your business. So as people are Googling, as people are asking some of these models, ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, your business can come out. So those are the things you build in the background. Okay. So I'm also talking with another business. They sell electrical, all these wiring materials in-house, or all those stuff. The same thing. So you can be, now the beauty of it is that you can be in a tiny location, have all the products that you have, and sell countrywide. You can sell it. Once you say you can deliver anywhere, okay. Now there is a way you can do it if you want, like your social media posts. Now this is also another area where AI is taking people's jobs. Like if it was to be the traditional way, you employ content creator and somebody that will handle your social media, right? But AI is doing all those
things. Are now being made automatically. Yeah, that is essentially where I have actually seen anything very flashy that AI is doing, because before this brand of AI, or this level of AI, class of AI that we have now that automatically generates things, there used to be chatbots. Yeah. There have always been chatbots, right? Yeah. So chatbots are not actually a very shiny new thing, but this automation of posts and doing things automatically, that is where AI is actually coming in for businesses. So they can actually class themselves as AI first. Local business.
Yeah, business is integrating AI into their business. Depends on what that business is doing. Now, for instance, if you have a car manufacturing industry, there are a lot of places you can implement AI. You can implement computer vision in your assembly to monitor, the quality of the product. You can, just like I say, you can implement AI in the aspect of putting your business out there in the public so that people can know. So you can launch a new product, use AI to generate very good quality videos.
I have one more question.
All right.
Yes. How do you know that you're doing too much? Like you're going overboard with the whole AI, like you're using a hammer now to kill a fly, essentially.
How do you know you're doing too much? As it stands, right? People businesses cannot do too much with AI. I don't think so. Now, this is the reason. Yeah, this is the reason behind my saying. Most businesses in Nigeria, most of them are not online.
So they need to gather a lot of data, their user data, user behavior, all of that. They have to have all of that first before they can start talking about AI. They are not even equipped.
They are not even using. They're not even using AI at all. Not to talk about overusing. Okay. Now, for instance, how many of our businesses in this country, in how many of them, like, I'm not talking about those companies in Lagos, in Abuja, and all those stuff. So I'm talking of businesses in Aba, in Enugu, in Ibadan, in Kano.
Like market style.
Exactly. How many of them have a collection of their customers' data? Apart from those
in a book. Some of them don't even have bookkeeping. Let's even start from there. Some of them don't even have. So these people are not actually. Do they really have a need for AI if they are not even ready to automate the basic processes, which is more like bookkeeping, inventory, making sure nobody's stealing from it, because we keep having cases of theft coming up. So I don't think AI is their concern at this point.
Some of them don't know that they need it until you open your eyes to it. For AI helping businesses and people integrating it, they don't have to just jump in. There has to be a laid down processes before you now launch into using AI for your business. Okay, then integrating AI. For instance, most of the AI's integration that they will need into their business has to have a base. Now, I gave an example with one of the business I was working with. I had to first of all put the business out there, put it online. I did a website for them, built an automation system for them, set up their social media handles, and then make posts, generate content. So when they are now done with that, you build the automation system, okay? And then they're done. This is just particular for this business. As I'm talking with another business that wants to integrate AI, I will now tell them, okay, this data we need to gather this kind of data. This is what you need to do. That is where, businesses consult you before they take an action. And now the future, like I see it, has a lot of AI integrated in most of the things we do. So the earlier businesses get in on this, the better chances they have to dominate their sector. Because in the future, people will not Google things as the traditional way they Google it. People
Google search has already changed. Google search has already changed. There was this news. Google is changing the way we search.
It's still inside Gemini. Google search has changed. They integrated Gemini into their search. Some people have ChatGPT app installed on their phone. So anything they want, they just go in and
getting AI overviews. They are not even visiting websites. That is.
So if the AI is able to pick your content, sometimes those AI will reference your website, reference your social media handle, reference your publications on blogs, and from there you can get a lead. Because in the end, people want to make money, and if you don't know you're doing the business, you cannot. So that's basically that.
Oh, Chibuike, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate your time and the knowledge you've impacted today, and the insights that we've gotten on Nigerian businesses and how they are interacting with AI. Hoping to see you again very soon.
All right. I'll be happy to be on your.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much.